we talked about the Luft repetition. It should be stated, I think this chapter has the first uh, aside on a possible person who could be the mule. I have a character called Mark Callis, which is the real name of the professional wrestler called The Undertaker. I like the name Mark Callis. And we find out he has a brother named Gene Callis, and it could be that Gene Callis is The Undertaker. So there are about anywhere from maybe 8 to 10, 12 people that are posited as possibly the mule. And I think this is the chapter that has the first asides on someone who could be the mule, and we find out a little bit about this person. Then we get the editor's note here. It should be noted at this point in the narrative, and then it ends up just Elaine Shaw talking again and flapping her gums.
And about how they all the time about how they repurposed and added extra things. Is that maybe an aside too about how editors will kind of take over most books and destroy them in some way?
Well, a lot of the stuff that she says is obvious.
Yes.
You get the sense that the editor, she's kind of dense, and she's trying to take people by the hand and weave them through the narrative. And a lot of what she says is obvious. There's a similar element in my kids' book where a couple of the people who read it thought that when I had Kabi Caputo saying some really dumb things, that I was having Kabi say these dumb things to guide the people along for obvious things. No, the reason Kabi says them is because he's a stupid fuck. The reason that he says these obvious things is to show that he's a dumb ass and doesn't get things. Not that the reader doesn't get things, but that Kabi doesn't get things. In the same way, Elaine Shaw is doing some of the things. I mean, of the maybe 25 or 30 points that she makes in the book, 5 or 6 of them are interesting and worth reading. Most of the rest of them are just her trying to fill in gaps in the manuscript.
Yeah, so even the editor has a character to her.
Yeah.
And whereas Manny Cole is largely silent for the most part.
Well, Manny Cole is in a coma. These are Manny Cole's written words. Manny Cole, when he's speaking in the first 2 books, Tumbleweeds and the Vincetti Brothers, we could envision Manny Cole here. You have to remember, this is Manny Cole's manuscript. So we're not going to, this is what Manny Cole is writing. In the other books, Manny Cole is claiming to be the writer, but he's being written about. In this one, the conceit is that Manny has written this book, even though he really hasn't.